humanity has always feared the unknown. Tonight, we explore 5 legendary creatures, each born from folklore, yet tangled with real-life encounters that blur myth and truth. These beings walk the lines between nightmare and reality. Are you ready to peer beyond the veil? Skinwalker, the Navajo shapeshifter of the desert. From the high desert plateaus of Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona comes the eerie legend of the Skinwalker, a powerful Navajo witch who abandons their humanity to don the shape of a beast. According to Navajo lore, a skinwalker can transform into nearly any animal, wolf, coyote, owl, even human, and copy their voices, intercept your thoughts, and manipulate your senses. Skinwalker Ranch, Utah, is perhaps the most infamous modern epicenter. A family moved there in the 1990s and quickly reported bizarre phenomena. Unexplainable cattle mutilations with no tracks, glowing spheres of light, poltergeist-like activity, and shadow creatures zipping through the earth at incredible speeds. One reported sighting involves a massive wolf-like figure that greeted the family's children calmly, only to turn brutal moments later, ripping apart livestock. They fired shotgun blasts, yet bullets allegedly bounced off its hide like steel. Reddit user account recounts these events with legendary horror. Interviews with tribal elders reinforce the terror. Skinwalkers aren't mere cryptids, they're humanity corrupted. Signs of a skinwalker attack include unnatural animal behavior, voices copying your name, and the sensation that something is watching from just beyond vision. Witnesses report seeing disembodied human faces floating in the dark at the edge of the property. In 2025, Season 6 of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch aired shocking new footage. Drones being repelled mid-air, gamma rays spiking in the mesa, and malfunctioning equipment when investigators approach certain areas. Despite rigorous scientific efforts, some phenomena defy explanation, but stories still center on shape-shifting horrors under the brim of the high desert sun. Wendigo, the starving spirit of the north. Deep in the boreal forests of Canada and northern Minnesota, Algonquian oral tradition warns of the Wendigo, a ravenous, gaunt spirit born of famine, cannibalism, and taboo. Plagued souls are said to become possessed, their hearts turning cold, their bodies emaciated, and their minds twisted toward violence and hunger beyond death. This mythology crossed into criminal history in a chilling example. In 1897, a native man named Machequequonabe shot and killed his foster father, claiming his target had become a Wendigo. The Ontario courts ruled this an act of manslaughter, not murder, acknowledging his cultural belief, though tragic Wikipedia. Another high-profile case involved Jack Fiddler, an Ojibwe shaman believed to have executed several men accused of Wendigo psychosis during epidemics in efforts to quell the spirit and protect his people. Folklore capabilities include unnatural speed, elongated limbs, and inhuman cackling at forest edges. Survivors of alleged encounters describe heated breath in freezing air, footsteps crunching over snow too close, the echo of whispered pleas, followed by frigid silence. In some accounts, victims are discovered with frozen-over wounds, their skin cracked. Reports surfaced in early 20th century Canada about missing hunters following famines, suspected victims of Wendigo possession. Detectives noted diaries filled with scribbled warnings. I hunger. I can't stop. Medical historians now consider Wendigo psychosis a culture-bound syndrome, yet documented cases remain deeply unsettling. Whether spirit or sickness, the Wendigo myth endures as an icon of human fragility and a harrowing reflection on desperation, morality, and isolation. Blackeyed Children, the doorstep visitors that shouldn't exist. The Blackeyed Children phenomenon began in the mid-1990s, but urban legends suggest earlier echoes. These pale-skinned children, often dressed in outdated clothing, appear at doorsteps asking for help, shelter, or access. When witnesses lock eyes with them, the whites vanish. Total obsidian stare. They speak with adult tones. Their presence evokes a deep nausea, an unrelenting dread. The first widely circulated account comes from Texas reporter Brian Bethel in 1996. He described 2 children standing outside his car late at night, asking to be let in, only to suddenly retreat when he tried to look one in the eye. Media outlets soon covered similar stories from Oregon, Georgia, and the UK. In many of these reports, homeowners heard scratching on doors, doors unlocked themselves, and victims experienced insomnia, illness, or even hallucinations. Sketchy as internet lore may be, paranormal investigators take these encounters seriously. Some theories describe the Blackeyed Children as extraterrestrial or negative spirit entities. The common thread: no rational explanation. When people instinctively refuse entry, typically the children vanish. But those who open their doors report debilitating nightmares. In rare cases, victims vanish altogether. No confirmed death has been officially attributed to them, yet the psychological horror remains. The real fear? Not some monster clawing at your window, but something inhuman looking you right in the eye, smiling sweetly, and waiting. Jorugumo, the spider woman of Japanese folklore. In mountainous regions and waterfall pools of Japan, like Jōren Falls in Shizuoka Prefecture, local folklore warns of the Jorugumo, a spider yokai that transforms into a beautiful woman to lure men into her web. Legends tell of woodcutters who drown in the falls after glimpsing a stunning woman. When he refused to stay silent, he vanished mysteriously. The Jorugumo is described as seductive and dangerous. She glides between human form and monstrous spider, controlling fire-breathing spiders to protect her domain. Once she traps a victim in her silk, she delivers a paralyzing bite and devours slowly. One notable story recounts a stranger retrieving his axe from beneath Jōren Falls. A beautiful woman appears, returns it, and instructs him never to speak of the incident again. When he finally does in drunken bravado, he dies in his sleep shortly after. Modern sightings remain anecdotal. Hikers report hearing eerie music near caves or glimpsing traps of silky webs strung between rocks. Anthropologists note that the Jorugumo myth embodies a deep cultural fear of deceptive beauty and death cloaked in loveliness. In fan fiction and horror media, the creature appears as a vampiric seductress, turning human lovers into victims caught in endless webs. But in folklore, her power is psychological: temptation, charm, and fatal consequence. Banshee, the wailing herald of death. In ancient Celtic lore across Ireland, Scotland, and Northern England, the Banshee is a supernatural woman whose piercing wail foretells death in a family line. Unlike fearsome demons, banshees are mourners, individuals bound to families by lineage rather than malice. Traditional tales describe a banshee's appearance as fragile, often with long wild hair and wearing gray or white robes. Her wail, a keening, high, and haunting, can be heard through walls. When a family hears her cry, death soon follows. Though modern representations often blame banshees for death, folklorists clarify they're not malevolent. They foretell it. They don't cause it. Historically, from the 17th through 19th centuries, entire Irish and Scottish households reported hearing the banshee's lament before tragedy. One 19th century Belfast family recorded the shriek on a wax cylinder, hoping to preserve proof. 24 hours later, their eldest son died unexpectedly. Audio experts describe the sound as neither human nor animal, a chilling prehistoric scream. Some families claimed a banshee appeared at the bedside, her face obscured in shadows, pulling blankets as if to warn or comfort. In one case, an old relative saw the figure, eyes glistening with sorrow, and immediately recognized that their grandmother had passed in a distant county. In modern culture, banshees appear in fantasy media and horror movies, but roots lie in grief, supernatural grief that refuses to be silenced. Today, rural elders in Ireland still speak in hushed tones. If the wind sounds like crying tonight, it may not be the wind. These legends, ancient and modern, linger on our collective mind. Whether shape-shifting witches, famine-born spirits, shadowy children, spider women, or grieving phantoms, stories teach us that fear lives where myth meets reality. Have you experienced something unexplainable? Share in the comments below, and stay afraid.